I knew I wanted to study early childhood studies, get a master's in it. I had at the same time applied to University of Toronto for a different program in the same field of education. And so I applied to both and I got into Ryerson. I'm really glad I got into Ryerson.
I applied, and to be perfectly honest, I was on the wait list. So I thought, oh, well, maybe I'm not so, I won't be doing it. And then I was very lucky to be accepted into the program. And I have to say, it was a wonderful opportunity and one of the best opportunities of my life.
You don't see this level of caring and compassion for students at any other university. I have taught at other institutions, and I am currently doing a PhD at an institution, and I don't feel the same level of genuine caring and support that the program here offers.
The field itself is changing as well. So before, a diploma was enough to move up within an organization, but now you need your degree, and on top of that, you need your master's to be able to move up anywhere.
People don't, I think, appreciate how interesting the sector is and how complex the care and education of young children in society is.
Dr. Judith Bernhard had the idea that we needed to have a master's program in early childhood studies because we did not have one in the province. And her ideas are especially around diversity and inclusion, that we needed to have a focus in our program on these issues, because now in 2016 more and more people are talking about diversity and inclusion, but 10 years ago it was less on the radar, and Judith thought that we should be educating people who work with children to have them engage more deeply with these issues.
Being part of the first cohort had its challenges, but it had opportunities as well. So, for example, we had opportunity to make contributions to how the program should go. We were constantly given opportunity to give feedback on the courses we were taking, on the workload, on the facilities.
Well, because we were the first of the part-time group, the first cohort, I guess, the faculty were trying out new things. And the process was bumpy sometimes, because anytime you start a new program, there's some mistakes. But they did bring energy, and they brought enthusiasm, and they brought their want to make it work.
When I came into the master's program here at Ryerson, definitely the things that stood out for me was ECE, like childcare, like what other opportunities are going to be here in ECE, in policy, and wanting to be teachers, wanting to be child life specialists. And there's just so many, wanting to be professors. There's so many opportunities that I wasn't aware of when I came into it. And I think that the master's program definitely taught me that it's way beyond just childcare.
My intention was to go on and be a clinical child psychologist, but after university I felt like I wanted to understand child development from a more holistic perspective, not just psychological, but social, looking at the family, looking at the environment, looking at everything. So when I saw that the master's program at Ryerson was 1 year and they were also interested in things that I was like diversity and inclusion, I decided to apply, and I was happy that I got in.
Ryerson weaved diversity and inclusion into every single course, whether it was a research course, whether it was curriculum planning, just ways to really engage with your community, try to understand the background of others, and to understand how they could have a diverse point of view.
I think that Ryerson's focus on social justice, or perspective around social justice, was a really important factor for me when I selected a program, because I really wanted to think differently in my program and delve deeply into what are some of the fundamental problems in our society that cause some populations to be more vulnerable than others or more disenfranchised. And I really felt that at Ryerson I would be able to understand some of those things.
There was definitely an emphasis on trying to view early childhood through these different theoretical frameworks, which really took it outside of sort of the normal way of looking at it. It's a simplified way of looking at it. It's like, oh, it's just educating and caring for young children. That's really simple. And it's like, no, it's not that simple. It's wrapped up in our values. It's wrapped up in, you know, our governing structures. It's wrapped up in our ideas of women. It's wrapped up in our ideas of children. And so I think that was really enlightening for a lot of people. And certainly we were all, like the students, right? Like my peers, we were all coming at it from different angles.
And a lot of my colleagues are actually, you know, I say that they're young, but they're all professionals in their community. Some of them are running childcare centers themselves. You know, others have been working in the field as ECEs for several years. So it's great to have a whole range of different backgrounds to come in and draw on when you're having discussions in class or reading papers or thinking about ideas.
The faculty were great at getting everyone, you know, caught up to speed on what we needed to know, and then within conversations they were great at guiding and moderating, and sometimes because we all came from different backgrounds, there could be a clash of ideology, but the faculty were really good at, you know, not shutting that down and preventing dialogue, but really in guiding us to work through difficult ideas.
The faculty played a very big role in my experience. They all knew me by name. I felt very comfortable going to their office anytime, any time of the day. It was great. They were very supportive. They always provided, you know, additional information about what other possible careers were outside of Ryerson.
They were very understanding with deadlines and due dates because we were all just getting back into the process. And they were understanding with our slow learning curve. I didn't even know what PowerPoint was when I walked in the door of my first class, and all these youngish type people who were under 30 knew exactly what it was and how to use it. So I had a technical learning curve at the same time, as did most of us who were coming from professional lives.
Just the congeniality of the faculty and the non-hierarchical atmosphere at Ryerson, I think that made a difference for me. It led to me not being intimidated. I felt that I was welcome, and I had a certain esteem just because you are just a person. You know, your personal dignity was important.
I think that some of the faculty at Ryerson, particularly in this program, have been really valuable to Ontario. And I have had the privilege of continuing to work with them in my career as well, in my work in government. These kinds of researchers have really contributed to some of the great work that has happened in Ontario over the last couple of decades. And they are people that can take the research, help us develop policy that is sound and effective and supports healthy child development, and also help us implement it in the Ontario context.
We're at a really interesting time in the field where a lot of the great influencers are beginning to retire and leaving this space for new people to step in and to become sort of the influencers and to drive the next stage of the field. Whether it's at government writing policy or you're on the ground floor implementing policy, we need visionaries who have a really critical understanding of early childhood studies, especially in a city like Toronto through the lens of diversity, equity, and inclusion, to really shape the way that we approach social justice issues and support marginalized children and families in the future.
It was a lot of fun. It was a tremendous amount of work. The readings were very overwhelming for us, for myself and for us. We would get together and complain about how much work we had to do. We had to be creative in figuring out how we would get all the work done.
We had our student lounge that we would hang out in, and some days we would just go there from 8 in the morning till 8 at night and just study and work together. But then we had opportunities to fool around and laugh, have a coffee. So it was a good mixture of learning, but also like the friendships that we built while we were there.
I think there were many friendships. I still have some relationships that I'll see them almost weekly, so like pretty close friendships. I know other people have also kept in touch. And there were people that like slept there, right? In the lounge.
Yeah.
They had sleepovers.
I think people figured out the 2 chairs together would make a nice little
Oh yeah.
So sometimes in the morning you'd see little groupings of chairs.
It's been really great to go before class to work on projects. It's a really great central spot for us to work and to socialize and get to know each other, and also share ideas and complain and have meltdowns and that sort of thing. So the Grad Lounge has been a real, it's been a real bonus.
We didn't have a lounge. We got that through our request that was put in before the end of our year. Before we graduated, we had a lounge put in, but we didn't get to enjoy it. But it's lovely. I went into the lounge and it's really lovely. And there's a feeling of, oh yeah, we fought for that.
I am very proud to be affiliated with the MA in Early Childhood Studies. We have very enthusiastic faculty who deeply care about the students in the program, who care about their areas of research, be it disability or immigrant and newcomer children and families, or policy in early childhood education and care. And we have students who are excited to be here.
I think there's always work to be done for the public to begin to perceive our work as credible, and we want people to see us as professionals, and we also have to sort of walk the talk. Then getting a higher credential like a master's program is one way to achieve that. It really is a very beautiful extension of the BA program, and it does really force you to put your money where your mouth is.
Since I joined the city, there's been 3 other groups of consultants that are new, and 2 of them are master's grads after me, and they said, oh, we knew you talked about it, it was so amazing. I think that this program is going to continue to develop people who can work both in provincial and municipal policy. I think that the city needs younger people working with this kind of policy and philosophy and evidence-based research.
We need to be agents of change. We can't just take all this in and let it go nowhere. That it's really incumbent on us as having the privilege of taking part in the program to take it out into the general society, into our neighborhoods, wherever we work, and to make change.
What was graduation like?
It was nice. It was kind of a little bit tear-jerking, but after the ceremony, it was a nice opportunity to talk with people I hadn't seen, to connect with faculty again, and to exchange contact information once again, and kind of pat each other on the back and say it was worth it.